Hi all. Today we are talking about concepts of occlusion. So in concepts of occlusion, mainly we have bilateral balanced occlusion, unilateral balanced occlusion, mutually protected occlusion, canine protected occlusion, and organic occlusion. This unilateral balanced occlusion, mutually protected occlusion, canine protected occlusion, organic occlusion is present normally in natural dentition, and bilateral balanced occlusion in complete dental patients. So let's move on to balanced occlusion. What is a balanced occlusion? Balanced occlusion is nothing but the simultaneous contact of anterior and posterior teeth during excursive movement. That is during protrusion, during medial protrusion or lateral protrusion. On every lateral movement and protrusive movement, all the teeth should be in contact. That is balanced occlusion. The term itself gives the meaning balanced occlusion. Means all the teeth will be in contact and the contact of the opposite arches maintain the balance of the tension. So the principles of bilateral balance when applied to natural and fixed prosthodontic prove to be extremely difficult to accomplish. That is, uh, first they introduced balanced occlusion in natural dentition also, but the problem with they met with lot of problems. That's rate of failure was very high, rate of occlusal wear was increased, frontal breakdown was increased or accelerated, and neuromuscular disturbance occurred. Why? Because for a natural dentition tool, there should be a posterior separation during protrusive movement, and then during maximum intercuspal position or eccentric, there should be anterior disocclusion. But in case of balanced occlusion, since in balanced occlusion there is a continuous contact of teeth during protrusive and lateral protrusive movement, this contact leads to uh, heavy occlusal wear, periodontal breakdown, and neuromuscular disturbance. So then they came into something called as unilateral balanced occlusion or group function. It was based on Schuller's concept. So in unilateral balanced occlusion, during lateral movement, only there is a contact in working side. Okay, so there is no contact of non-working side. Only on working side we have multiple teeth contact. So what is unilateral balanced articulation? Multiple contact relationship between the maxillary and mandibular teeth in lateral movement on the working side, whereby simultaneous contact of several teeth act as a group to distribute occlusal forces. So in unilateral balanced occlusion, this excursive contact occurs between all opposite posterior teeth only on the lateral side. On the other side, that is medial side, there is no contact, and the contact are not desired posterior than the mesial portion of first molar. Okay, and the load is distributed among the periodontal support of all posterior teeth on working side. Since there is multiple teeth contact on working side, the load can be distributed to all the teeth. So this can be advantageous. For instance, if the patient is a patient has a periodontal support of the canine is compromised, or in that case, if you give a group function occlusion, uh, the load is breakdown to all other teeth and it is advantageous for the patient. And on the working side, the occlusal load during functional movement is then distributed over the periodontal surface of all teeth in the quadrant, while the posterior teeth on non-working side do not have any contact. So the absence of contact on the non-working side prevents those from getting subject to destructive or obliquely directed forces found in non-working interference. That is, in case of non-working side, there are high chance of interferences, that is oblique forces and unwanted forces, which can be traumatic to the periodontium. So that can be avoided by absence of contact on the non-working side. And let's move to another concept by Schuler, that is freedom in centric. So he says centric relation was rather a biological area often a point. So there is a flat area in the central fossa upon which opposite cusp contact, which permits a degree of freedom in eccentric movement uninfluenced by the two decline. So the centric area is rather than a point, it is an area so which permits a degree of freedom of zero point 0.5 to 1 mm. Okay. So another concept by long centric by Dawson, he says freedom of the mandible either into centric relation or slightly anterior into it without varying the vertical dimension at the anterior tip. So in long centric, the mandible can close either into centric relation or slightly anterior to it without any change in affecting the vertical dimension. If you see the picture, you can see the dotted line and teeth, the horizontal freedom. They are marked in red color, amount of long centric. So we can close the mandible either in the centric or slightly anterior to it without any change in vertical dimension. That is known as long centric. In case of freedom in centric, that is a degree of freedom in the central fossa of opposing cusp, which allows 0.5 to 1 mm. So long centric involves primarily the anterior teeth. So there can be no horizontal protrusive path of posterior teeth. So even with 0 degree anterior guidance, the condyle must move downward as the jaw moves forward. The lower posterior teeth must move downward with them. So long centric refers to freedom from centric, not freedom in centric. Okay. So the provision of long centric simply moves the lingual incline forward so that jaw is free to close without restriction either in centric relation or slightly protruded relationship that occurs at various posture positions. So when the patient is in upright, relaxed or postural position, a general tapping of teeth together should not result in stinging the upper lingual incline before complete closure to the most closed position. So the goal is for the patient to able to close either into central relation or slightly protruded during gentle postural closure without striking the lingual incline. Patient should be comfortably able to bite into either centric or slightly anterior position without providing a deep bite or striking into the lingual portion of the anterior teeth. Let's move to one of the most important topic, that is canine protected occlusion. So most of the young patient we can see canine protected occlusion, but as the patient ages, gradually patient shift to roof function occlusion. So canine protected and roof function occlusion are two occlusion which can see in most of the patients. So what is canine protected occlusion? It's a form of mutually protected articulation in which the vertical and horizontal overlap of the canine teeth disocclude the posterior teeth in the excursive movement of the mandible. So when we compare the canine protected occlusion and roof function occlusion, in roof function occlusion during lateral movement, lateral excursive movement, on working side there is a contact of multiple teeth in roof function occlusion. But in case of canine protected occlusion, there is only one contact of canine. All other teeth are non-contacting. And on the working side, non-working side, there is no contact, same as group function occlusion. So in canine protective occlusion, you have a contact of canine on the working side, and all other teeth are in non-contact, and non-working side, the contacts are absent. But in case of mutually protective occlusion, there is multiple contact of teeth on the working side. So why canine? Why only canine are in contact? Why not other teeth? Because canine have the longest and strongest roots in their respective arches. Take the length of the root, the canine have the longest root. And since it is away from the TMJ, so it acts as a class 3 lever, the load being reduced because the distance from the fulcrum is very long. Since the canine is situated in the anterior region and it is way away from your TMJ, it acts as a class 3 lever and the amount of load will be reduced due to the distance. Okay. And one more thing is it is surrounded by dense compact bone which can this tolerate the forces better. So the dense bone which covers the canine which will distribute the forces much easier. So um, it does not provide any harm to the tooth of the torch. So this is an article by G. Amitu, JPT 1961, Functional Occlusion of the Teeth in Man. So he says, proprioceptors of the periodontal ligament associated with the canine teeth are far more responsive than other teeth. So upon functional contact of the canines, the periodontal proprioceptive impulses are transmitted to the mesencephalic root of the fifth cranial nerve, which alter the motor impulses to the muscles. So occlusal trauma to the canine teeth is thus prevented by the reduced muscular tension and magnitude of the applied force. So what are the contraindications for canine guided occlusion? Obviously, missing canine or prosthetic canine is missing, we cannot go for a canine guided occlusion. And if the periodontium is compromised, we have to think other option. And in case of angle class 2 and class 3, it is reverse occlusion or crossbite. Let's move to anterior protected occlusion. So when canines cannot be used, either it is missing or periodontium is compromised. So lateral movements have posterior disocclusion guided by anterior teeth on walking side instead of canine alone. So in case of canines are absent, we can go for anterior protected occlusion. In anterior protected occlusion, during lateral movements, there is a posterior occlusion which is guided by anterior teeth on the working side instead of canine alone. So in canine occlusion, only canines will come in contact and it provide a disocclusion. But in anterior protective occlusion, the anterior teeth will come in contact and it will create a disocclusion on the posterior region. It was proposed by Dawson in 1974. To see the GPT-9 definition, it's a form of mutually protected occlusion in which the vertical and horizontal overlap of the anterior teeth disengage the posterior teeth in all mandibular exclusive movements. So anterior teeth are more capable of supporting stress than posterior. Like I said before, why? Because mechanical position relation to TMC. Since the anterior teeth are located far away from the TMC, uh, the length is more, the amount of load which comes to the anterior teeth will be less, and it got a better crown root ratio. Okay. Let's move to the mutually protective occlusion. What is a mutually protective occlusion? Like the term says, mutually protected. The anterior teeth are protecting the posteriors and posterior teeth are protecting. So when patient bites, if patient is biting in centrifugation, there is only contact of posterior teeth, anterior teeth will disengage. And during any protrusive movement, what happens is only the anterior teeth will come in contact, the posterior teeth will have separation. So the anterior teeth are protecting posterior and posteriors are protecting the anterior. So in 1963, Stewart and Steller advocated an occlusal scheme called mutually protected occlusion, which was based on earlier work by Diamond. So in a occlusal scheme, it's the posterior teeth prevent excessive contact of anterior teeth in maximum intercuspal position, and the anterior teeth disengage the posterior teeth in all mandibular excursive movements. So that is during centrifugation or maximum intercuspal position. Only you have contact of posterior teeth. There is no contact of anterior teeth, and all other excursive movement, protrusion or lateral protrusion, the anterior teeth will come in contact and it will disengage the posterior teeth and there is a separation of posterior teeth. So by this mechanism, anteriors are protecting the posteriors and posteriors are protecting the anteriors. So posterior teeth function most effectively in stopping the mandible during closure, where anterior teeth function most effectively in guiding the mandible during eccentric movements. Why this mutually protected is preferred? So Because of the lever system of the mandible, the elevator muscles of the mandible insert anterior to the temporomandibular joints and posterior teeth, and it forms the class 3 lever system. So the fulcrum F is, if you see the diagram, the F is TMJ, and the force effort E is applied by the muscles of mastication, and the resistance load L is food is placed between the teeth. So the load diminishes as the lever arm increases. So when the load is placed in the anterior teeth, the amount of load is decreased when the lever length of the lever arm is increased. So less load is placed on the anterior teeth than on the posterior teeth. So what are the advantages of mutually protective occlusion? Minimum amount of tooth contact is involved, therefore better penetration of food. The force closer to the long axis of each tooth, cusp to fossa relationship produce an interlocking of upper and lower components, giving a maximum support to centriculation in all directions. Stellarton and Stewart changed the term mutually protective occlusion to organic occlusion, in which centriculation and maximum intercirculation coincide. What is organic occlusion? Nothing but in organic occlusion, centriculation position and MIP are constant. Normally, in a normal patient, centriculation position and MIP may not be coincide. Okay, there will be 0.5 to 1 mm separation between centric occlusion and MIP. But in organic occlusion, centriculation position and MIP are constant, and posterior teeth are in cusp fossa relation, and each functional cusp contacts the occlusal fossa at 3 points. In protrusion, maxillary incisa guide the mandible and disocclude the posteriors. In lateral movements, the lingual surface of maxillary canine glides along the distal inclines of the mandibular canine and mesial ridge of first premolar. So that's all about different concepts of occlusion in FPD.